Productions, and I'm going to be showing you how to make a muzzle flash, an advanced muzzle flash in Adobe After Effects. So Adobe After Effects is open for me, and this is the footage. Basically, you're going to want to scrub through to where you find the muzzle flash. So yeah, it happens like right about here. So you want to, and this looks like a decent one. Let me check it out. Yep, that looks pretty decent. Okay, so first you're going to want to flip the muzzle flash, align it up with the gun right around there, and we're gonna scale it up just a little bit. And if the edges are rough on your muzzle flash, you can go up to Effects, Blur and Sharpen, Fast Blur, and just kind of feather it out a little bit. I think that's good enough, right around there. Of course you can do more, but anyways, yeah, that's the muzzle flash right there. So basically what we're going to do with this muzzle flash is we're going to duplicate it by Command D, and then we're going to take the top one and we're going to set an add blending mode to it. And even though that does look pretty cool, it's still not the brightness we're looking for. So we're gonna go to Effect. We're gonna select them both, go to Effect, Color Correction, Curves or Levels, whichever you're more comfortable with, and just bring up the RGB until it looks just right. Okay, I mean on the bottom one, you can also do this to add a little more effect. You can go to Blur, Gaussian Blur, and just bring up the blur to sell that glow that's casted around the muzzle flash. Okay, so that looks pretty good. There's one or two problems. First off, the muzzle flash doesn't stay with the thing, which can be fixed in two ways. Since this is Action Essentials, the muzzle flash lasts for 2 frames, which you can shorten it down to 1 frame, and then just have it like that, which is still good. And also, if you have a shakier camera, you're gonna need to motion track this so the smoke stays with the environment. But I don't think we're gonna need to motion track it. But just for the sake of the tutorial, I'll motion track for you. So we'll go to Tracker, Motion Track. You can also open that up in your window. We're gonna do position and rotation, and we're just gonna go in and make these tracking points a little bigger and find a point of contrast somewhere in the footage. That looks right there. That looks like a good point. And probably should have put motion trackers somewhere on the thing, but I wasn't expecting to do motion tracking. But motion trackers are usually only needed for a very shaky footage. Here, I think down here was a good spot. Yeah. Or maybe even, there we go. Okay. So now we're just gonna start analyzing forward. Alright, so we're going to edit targets to null, and we're going to apply to the X and Y. Okay, and then we're going to pull this down to where the clip ends, and then we're going to parent what we want to stick onto the null object. So now we got these muzzle flashes, and the smoke is moving with the environment, which is good. Okay, which I would say that would be a pretty good muzzle flash, but of course we're trying to make this a lot more advanced. So right now, first we're going to duplicate the bottom layer, add, and then we're going to mask around the edges where we think a glow would cast. So first it would cast around this gun and a part of my hand, and then I guess it'd kind of stop. It would cast a shadow beyond there. So, and then also we're gonna surround the back wall right here, because that would definitely get some glow. and back here. Okay, so obviously that looks really choppy, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go under to our masks, select all of them, and feather a lot. Alright, and the glow is good, but it's a little powerful, so what I'm gonna do, here, hold on a second, and also you can adjust them as you think they'll be needed. And basically, since this is just a muzzle flash, it wouldn't cast that much of a glow. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to select them all again, and we're going to set keyframes, and we'll make this first one about 50, and then fade over the course of 2 frames. Fade to about 0. So yeah, and then that's basically it. And if you're doing multiple muzzle flashes, you'll just have to do that over and over. But yeah, that's your environmental glow. So that looks good, but there's actually one more thing we could probably add just to sell more of the effect. Now, I've looked at adding in flashes like optical flares, but I think that gives it too much of a fake look because the muzzle flash isn't even facing the camera. So what I'm gonna do is instead of doing that, to add a little more effect to it, I'm gonna add sparks. So in Action Essentials, there's this thing, it's called sparks. Now, if you're just using Google Images for your muzzle flashes and stuff like that, this really shouldn't be the tutorial for you because this is for advanced muzzle flashes and you're gonna need Action Essentials for most of this. Okay, so start downloading sparks. So basically, we're gonna add a little spark, like a firecracker or something just spitting out. And that looks pretty good. Now, obviously this isn't the right color, so we're gonna have to color correct it first. Just tilt it in the right way, and we're gonna try to mimic that little effect right there. So we're just gonna bring up the RGB, and that looks pretty good. So coming out of the gun, I would actually shorten it for one more frame and then bring it back, because it kind of stays in frame a little too long. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna parent this to the null, and if it's too choppy once you've shortened it, you can also add a little opacity change afterwards, so like kind of like it's there and then fades away by here. The sparks aren't really there, so kind of pointless for this, but I'll show you for the sake of the tutorial. So there you go, and let me look through that a couple of times. I just realized something. I forgot to shorten my glow before the thing while the muzzle flash starts. So make sure that the layer that's being added right here with the additive mode, make sure it starts with the muzzle flash, because that would be bad. Okay, so as you can see, here's our muzzle flash. It's a little rough on the edges. In fact, it looks a little weird on the edges. So what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna have a fast blur. I'd set it to like 4, and that looks pretty good. Okay, and also just to add a little more effect and get rid of those sparky edges, we're gonna have an ellipse tool around it, and that looks about right. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is bring it in a little, just surround the muzzle flash if you get a muzzle flash like this. And what you're gonna do is, to avoid this choppiness, we're just gonna feather it around, and now you've got a good muzzle flash. Okay, so now you have your muzzle flash. We're gonna do what we did before, duplicate it, add, select them, little effect, color correction, curves for layers, levels, and we're gonna bring up the brightness of this thing. Okay, so now we have that. First shorten it down to the when the muzzle flash happens, and then make an add, make the mode add. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put where it's going to shine. It's going to shine right around here. Definitely going to shine on my hands. And a little bit of this back wall. Okay, so that looks about right. And again, we're going to select, we're going to select the layer, go to masks, select all masks, and we're going to feather a lot. Okay, that looks about right. It gives you that really nice glow. So obviously this is a lot of glow, so we're gonna do opacity, and you really shouldn't have it at 100. I'd say like 59, 50, somewhere right around there is like 50 to 60% opacity is probably the right amount. I got this from a download on Film Riot, so go check out that in the link in the description. Okay, so here, that looks like a good one, so I'm just gonna shorten that down. We're gonna have to add a screen mode onto it if it doesn't already have transparency, and we're gonna bring it right on here and kind of mess with the thing because it's a little off. Actually, I might even tilt it all the way up. There we go. And let me just have that go on for a little longer. Okay, so that looks better. I like that a lot better. Okay, so now I have smoke. Actually, a little too much smoke. Let me get rid of some of that. It's our smoke. Okay, so we're almost done. Now I'm just gonna add some sparks. I'm gonna add wielding sparks out of focus, because it'll give this, like, it'll be coming towards the camera and it'll already be out of focus because it's so close to the camera. I'm doing that because this is like 10 seconds. So let me just shorten that really low. I only want like a little bit of it. It's only like 4 seconds of video, so. Okay, so basically I just want to drag this, I want to drag this in. Oh, crap. Okay, so basically let me just make this color correction. We're going to go to color correction, curves, bring up this. And to make it a little more yellow, we're going to go into green, bring it up. And we're going to go into blue, bring it up. So yeah, we got this yellowy look to it. And to blend it better, we're going to go into blur, fast blur, and we're going to blur that a lot more. There we go. Now we're getting to what we want. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to, it's a lot of sparks coming out of the barrel. So what we're going to do is we're going to mask around this part right here, the part where we want. Okay, and we're gonna masks, and we're going to feather the mask. Okay, so that looks about right. And what we're gonna do is we're kind of just bring this out a bit so it gets to the last one right here and it kind of just fades away. Okay, so that's kind of what we want, but not perfectly. So yeah, I just kind of want it to happen for a second. So basically it'll be right there, and it's gonna build up. So what I'm gonna have to do is this: start at 0 frame, and then kind of have it build up to like right here, like 2 frames after, and it's built up to about like this much. Like that looks about right. And so 0, it'll be 0 right here, and then kind of like flies out of the gun, like at. In fact, I'll make this actually a little more, so you can kind of get the idea of the sparks. Let me see how that looks. And have that fade away, like right here. So it's kind of like it comes on and it fades away. Idea of the sparks in this effect. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This is Zane from Zawesome Productions. Bye.